What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what really influenced it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 3.28%, kind of piggybacking off the broader market. 13.33 the low, 13.95 the high. I kind of found what happened this morning rather comical, only because market makers and large institutions wait up until the market does open. That way they can buy puts to really just cause havoc in the broader market, because what really caused all this disruption essentially was data points that came out 1 hour prior to the market open. And so we did have PPI and retail sales both coming in better than anticipated. You had Powell, but he didn't really say all too much that we didn't really expect already. But PPI and retail sales in a logical market with good data, even recently CPI, that would logically move the market higher. But in the market that we're in, which is somewhat backwards, similar to 2024, like the market wanted somewhat negative data to justify rate cuts. Good data doesn't justify rate cuts. So it's I find this all very, very comical and a very good kind of opportunity to buy the dip. So I think given all the circumstances, any dips that do happen in the market are pretty good buying opportunities. And then as well, the only other thing that really came out associated to SoFi, which is kind of more manipulation if you ask me, but you had a new analyst rating. So a sell $9 KBW Tim. And it's been a while since we've heard from Tim, and he has a 65% success rating on a side note, because there was roughly about 4 different analysts, all of which were very bearish. And I kind of was wondering what was up with them. Even with David from Wedbush, $5 sell, like I'm sure he is just waiting on the sidelines strategically just to come out and give a rating, a negative rating, let's say $3 or $2, I don't even know. But it definitely is interesting. And given a SoFi's growth from their earnings, I cannot even fathom why a analyst would give a $3 or like $9 rating, or even let alone a 6, 13, 950. Like all of that is just crazy to me. But as a consensus over the last 3 months, 1405 is that price target, representing a 3.54% upside. So that's basically what really influenced SoFi and obviously the broader market with the data points. I was anticipating during Power Hour for there to be a larger dip, because tomorrow we do have a big data point that has, at least over the last 4 occurrences, caused some negative disruption, and that is the Michigan consumer sentiment. You can kind of see right there the last 5 haven't been all too great. So again, that really spooks the broader markets, starts getting people talking about inflation once again. So anticipate some volatility. That's coming out at 9 a.m. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, so there was no official news, no SEC filings, but a lot of people are starting to really go through the transcripts of the fireside chat yesterday with JP Morgan. Anthony Noto obviously was one speaking on behalf of SoFi, and there was a lot of big things that was stated. I highlighted this one just stood out, saying that there's 10 deals. So there's going to be potentially 10 deals. They might cancel, or some people might not sign, but as of right now, there's 10 new sources of revenue that is going to be realized in Q1 2026 that was not there in Q1 2025. So I think this was his way, in a safe way, I guess, of saying that, hey, we are innovating, we got things going behind the scenes. We just don't tell you as much as other companies, wink, wink, Robinhood, but we are definitely doing things behind the scenes. And they did mention that they are investing quite significantly in Invest. So I think that's going to be a big thing for SoFi, and you never know, right? I think they also mentioned that they're going to be expanding. I saw some posts over the last couple of weeks about them and kind of doing some deals in Europe. So maybe that's what is going to be coming, some deals through Galileo for Europe. It'd be really kind of kick ass if they actually go up north to Canada, but I think that it's a little bit more difficult. But one thing I did find very, very interesting. So again, JPM is kind of the host. So JPM Global Tech, Media and Communications Conference. But what came out first thing was this. JP Morgan has a chance to build a great digital bank. So this is why I think in the past, I have alluded to that SoFi really needs to, I get that they want to play safe, but they need to really step it up and kind of expand at a faster rate. I'm sure Anthony is well aware of this because even during Bank of America's most recent earnings, they are investing a ton of money. Bank of America wants to kind of move towards digital banking. JPM clearly sees SoFi and a couple others kicking ass, taking market share from them. So they probably are going to be kind of stepping up and trying to stop. But at the same time, I've stated when I first started covering SoFi that they are trying to be a disruptor in one of the oldest sectors, and that is not going to go unnoticed. You are going to become the target, and this is exactly why SoFi is so heavily shorted. Even today, you had shorts increasing. It was kind of timid, I guess, today, but 54,000 shares. But 13.44% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 146.02 million shares. The fact that they are even still shorted 13% of their free float is crazy given SoFi's growth. So it's definitely an interesting kind of stock, but very frustrating sometimes at the same time because logically, I do feel that it should be a lot higher than this. I'm sure a lot of you do agree with that as well, but it just, for various reasons, Wall Street hates it. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Moving over to options, 10 million in calls, 4.2 in puts, 47% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. This one stands out. Like I said, big money likes to wait up until the market does open just to kind of unleash hell, and that way they can buy puts and benefit that way. So 1.5 million in between 835 and 840. And if we kind of pull this up, orient it based on premiums, you have one bullish and the rest bearish. So it looks like 13 for the puts, and it looks like June 20th, 2025. So 36 days. That seems to be kind of the point for the expiry date for that. A couple other ones right here. So you did have 296,000 between 1105 and 1110. So if we kind of pop this open and take a look at this, this one's relatively more bullish. So a lot of $10 puts were sold. So very bullish for that. And then last but not least, the big one or another one was 325,000 between 1020 and 1025. And even more reason why you guys need to pop over to my Discord, completely free. And that way I give a lot more updates for this. So if you're kind of curious on what's happening kind of intraday, then it's definitely good to look at. And even the second one right here is more $10 puts, all bullish. So once again, even more comical, just the fact that there was a lot of puts and they just benefited from SoFi going down. Maybe it is linked in some way or another to this analyst rating. I'm not really sure. So let me know your viewpoint on that. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So 3.08 million, 1.6, 20.6, 6.2. So big money definitely was paying attention to SoFi. So that's always a positive thing. With it at 1357, still kind of stuck in limbo between this R1 and the pivot. So it didn't really touch this R1. So still just kind of stuck between no man's land for that. So 1413 is going to be a key point to watch for. And actually what I will do, I believe I forgot to bring this up, but based on the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 1450 to 15, and then the bears anticipated to kind of go sub 13. So definitely a lot more upside is still anticipated. One thing to bring up though, with tomorrow being Friday, just take note of this. So you have 23,000 at that $13 strike price, 17,000 at 1350, 37,000 at 14, 31,000 at 1450, and then 107,000 at the 15. So anticipate shorts to be a little bit more active going into the rest of tomorrow. But moving on from here though, on the actual chart, because of the pullback today, it did close below this point right here, that 100-day moving average. So 1374 is going to be that key kind of level as well to really watch for it to, if you are going to see obviously a continued trend. So just watch for that 100-day moving average. 50 and the 200, it's not going to be touched anytime soon unless definitely some crazy crap does happen, whether it be war or just, I'm not really sure. I don't think there's really all that much that could really cause that level of a pullback, at least in the short term. So as far as in the kind of near term kind of stuff, just watch for that 100-day moving average alongside these points right here. So 1413. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Did you buy the dip? Did you sell? What have you been doing behind the scenes? So let me know your viewpoint. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals every single day on stocks, options, crypto. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.